Side. Yeah, all good. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We've got a very, very important topic today, and I have a very, very special guest. Some of you, hi Shreya, lovely to have you. Some of you may remember Lola, some of you may know Lola. Lola and I have been friends for a long time, and so we do have a mutual community on here. And some of you have met Lola because she was a guest over a year ago, and it was by far the most loved video. We did a video on the shadow, and here we are again. So I am beyond excited to bring on you today, Lola is one of the most special women in my life, but truly an incredibly powerful and important voice right now. And we have decided to come on here and have this conversation. I've been doing this talk show for the last few months. Hi, everyone. Really happy to have you. A couple of times a month, I've been having a guest, and the topic today is race, authentic power, and transformation. I just want to introduce you, Lola, and really let everybody know what we have here. So hello everyone, we're just getting started over here. So Lola is a many things: leadership coach, writer, modern day priestess, and really a transformation specialist. And Lola's going to be telling everybody more about her journey and who she is and what she has to say about this really important topic. But I think the thing I want to say before we go there is why are we having this conversation, right? And for me, you are somebody who brings unbelievable generosity to anything that you do and all of your work. And there's something about this particular topic that I feel, I don't want to say this, there's just an incredible amount to learn, right? This is a time of great learning, and you're an incredible educator. And I think that we're incredibly lucky that you're here and you're willing. And yeah, so how are you feeling now?
I don't know is the honest answer. Who knows? Does anybody actually know how they've been feeling for the last couple of months? But I do notice that we spoke about the shadow last time. And I didn't remember that, and then it's like, oh, we're talking about a shadow right now, you know. That's what I know. That's what I'm noticing. Deeper into those shadows, guys.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to say is around the education is I believe that we're all learning at the moment. That's really important. And I know there's this sort of I know that there's a real message right now about white people learning and educating themselves and stuff like that. And so I get that. That's really important. And also, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not a teacher, like a school teacher. Like, listen, right. You know, the learning is not just kind of, here are some facts. I got that. It's not that kind of learning. It's like in the bones learning. It's messy and emotional, and if it feels like that for you, that's totally normal. That's how it should be feeling.
I just want to say that yeah, there's agreement there on the thread, right? Everyone's learning. I want to just, you know, before we went on the live, before we clicked live, I was saying to Lola, when I was writing the bio of this talk and I was writing about Lola, I was like thinking about the deep soul work you do in your own practice, in your own life, the deep soul work that you are committed to continue to do, and how important that is to these types of conversations, right? To do the work, to be able to hold it. You know, when we initially had this conversation, one of the things that you've said to me is like how open you are to have it.
Yeah, right? I am. I'm really open to have it until I'm not. But I trust myself. I trust myself to be able to set a boundary. I don't have a problem with just this, you know, something moving from a yes to a no. So I trust myself, because it is also, boundaries are really important in this conversation, because it's like, it feels like a while since I've been in this territory personally. Don't know why. Don't know if it's just because it seems so, it's big, isn't it, at the moment? I don't know if it's because we were already in the lockdown situation, and so we're all feeling a little unhinged anyway, right? But it's been a while, and even just in the past week, I've just really been reminded of like the toll that it takes. You know, it does take a toll. It does. Self-care, boundaries is really important in this, and that's about knowing what you need to know your own needs first. No one can tell you that. So I'm personally quite happy to have the conversation, or with everyone. Trust me, there's plenty of people that I ain't having a conversation with. Like, oh no, I'm not going there with you, darling. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions, and I'm quite focused on who I'm here for and what I'm here for, or definitely who I'm not.
Right. Yeah. Love that. It's super important time for boundaries, and people are agreeing with that on the thread.
Yeah.
I'd love, Lola, for you to share a bit more about the journey you've had in the work that you do, and who you are and why you do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very open question. I could take that in so many different directions. What do you want to know? Because you know me, you know, what is it? There's like, that's so vast for me. So it's yeah.
So if we got a topic today, right? Race, authentic power, and transformation.
Yeah.
Right. And bringing transformation to the center of it, right? We're in a very transformational time right now. I would love to know why transformation has been such a central part of your journey and what you've done with that.
Okay. So transformation has been such an essential part of my journey because it had to be. Like, it really had to be. For me, it almost felt like there was no option. There was no choice. Although I know there is. I did what I was supposed to do. You know, I ticked all the boxes quite early in life of what I was supposed to achieve. And then I found myself in my 20s just like, is this it? Like, why don't I feel basically fulfilled, right? Fulfillment, meaning is really important to me, but I didn't know that back then. Because we don't live in a world that really supports us in knowing who we are. And that's what we're talking about, authentic power. That's what that's my area of specialism. And so, yeah, I might be biased. So I will tend to see things in the lens of power, but I don't know if it's just me. For me, it all seems to be about power, really. Yeah. Whether it's people trying to get some and actually, I really think fundamentally, when push comes to shove, what everyone's seeking is that authentic power, that power that comes from within them. And I think there's plenty outside of us that help us to do that. So I tend to see everything outside of us as a way into that. We live in a world of where most people aren't in their authentic power. You know, most people are chasing a carrot that was given for everyone's like kind of on a hamster wheel, right? So I felt like when COVID dropped and we all had to stay indoors, there was something about the hamster. We get to step off the hamster wheel.
Right.
And there's some people that are just like, oh, it feels so good to step off the flipping wheel, you know? And then some people who are just like, you know, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to see. So I like to stay on the wheel, you know? So, but that's where your power lies. Your power lies through that discomfort, you know, through that funk. So yeah, no, that's what I want to say about that actually at the moment. And then the transformational piece for me is a healing. Transformation is like healing as far as I'm concerned. And I just think we've all got an opportunity right now, like this situation we're in, and I've never seen it like this before. Like, it feels really, really different, you know. we've had issues with police brutality for a long time. And then, you know, in recent years with all the technology, we've seen more of them. So,
right.
more, you know, but this time's like different. I can feel it. It just feels so different. Like white people, more white people than ever. I don't remember this happening before. So many white people kind of wanting to, the pennies dropped for a lot of people, that it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you don't just get to say, oh, I'm not involved in that. I'm not contributing to that. So that's that. It's kind of like, no, you either got to be for it or against it. Like you don't get to sit on the fence on this one. You become complicit when you sit on the fence. There is no neutral. Neutral is for it. And I can get that that's really confronting. And obviously white people have got a problem with racism. You know, people of color have seen that for a long time. One of the worst things I think you can call a white person is racist, even when they're being racist. And it's hilarious, kind of not hilarious like funny, right? But it is hilarious. It's puzzling when you're sort of sitting there like, I don't know, like that shutting down of that shadow, right? That collective shadow, that shutting down of it. It's like, no, that's not happening. We can't admit that's happening. Which is, you know, great while you're over there in your little process. But in the meantime, it's contributing to a lot of shit
for
the rest of us, right?
Call ended.
My speaker was on for some reason, and yeah, this I've never seen before, with so many people actually being so moved by what's happened, by so shocked, so outraged, and like so upset. Actually, like a level of both sides. Actually, I've noticed this. There's a deeper level of emotion that I've seen this time around. Emotions like vulnerability, like sadness, like the hurt, the anger. I've seen more of that than I normally see in these situations, and that is the process of healing. And I also really noticed as well, because I'm obviously a Black woman, in case anyone hadn't noticed, and you know, within that we're all having, there's experiences, there's a diversity of experiences, but we're not all having the same experience. Yeah, we're not all the same people. And this thing has happened in the States, and I'm British, I'm a Londoner, and so we have our own issues over here in the UK for sure, because it's a global problem, it's a humanity problem, it's not a country specific problem, you know. So you can look at this, and I know there's some people that will just look at it like this event that happened is bad and wrong and shouldn't happen, but it's so much bigger than that as well. It's so much, it's like all the factors that contributed to that event happening. Like there's a huge backstory in terms of all the different structural inequalities, all the times out we've been shut down, all the, I don't know, like that policeman obviously felt completely within his rights to do what he did. You know, like it's systemic, and not just systemic in the police force, but the police force is part of the world. Like it all operates from this world. So it's this world is built on a sort of, on a system that contributes, makes these things happen. And we all kind of get on with it as much as we can, as best as we can. Yeah. But it's not, it's playing a toll, it's playing a real toll on us. You know, even for me, with more white people stepping up, I think it actually gives Black people and people of colour a bit of more space to heal. We haven't had space to heal up until now. Right. We've got all these wounds, they have to heal for us to move forward. And we haven't had that because we've had to spend all of our energy just fighting to flipping prove that racism exists. That's where all our energy's gone. It's like that's been the fight for bloody an age, right? And then that conversation being shut down with like, no, it doesn't. Are you sure? Are you sure? What was he doing? You know, sure you're not being sensitive or touchy or whatever other bullshit that comes with it, because you're not experiencing it, you're not living it. So, and that's also not enough of an excuse as far as I'm concerned, right? Because there's a lot of experiences I'm not living too. Like I don't, our mutual friends, as we know, and I know other people like this, he's Asian and he has a beard. And after September the 11th, it's getting on an airplane is a bit of an ordeal for him. You know, he tells me that. I don't feel any urge to ask him if he's being touchy. Or is he sure? Is he sure that's happening? You know, so I don't get that actually. On that level, I don't actually understand that. But it happens all the time for some reason.
So the thing I'm hearing in that, though, is that it's like the experience of white people, the difference between there being this invisible thing that they're not acknowledging. So you're having to say all of the time, there's this thing. And they're saying, no.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. I can't see it. Right. And right now, what we're seeing is a lot of people saying, wow, I wasn't willing to look. Wow, this is uncomfortable. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Right. And starting to wake up to all of the places where they weren't willing to hear it, weren't willing to look. Right. And for I want to just say for anyone watching this, right, because we're going to have a real diverse group of people watching this. Right. And this is for everyone that wants to be here and is called to this conversation that we're having. I want to, speak directly to anybody that's white that's watching this. This is kind of how Lola and I decided to do this. We were having a conversation at the weekend, where I was saying, where do I have an inner Amy Cooper? Right? That woman with the dog who, the blatant racism that was caught on camera, the blatant knowing of the power she holds, right? And it comes out in this way, this poison comes out, and we've all got to see it. But it's very easy to point the finger and say, oh, look at that. Everyone wants to be against Amy Cooper and put her, on the chopping board, versus being like, where do I have that inside of myself? This, what we're saying here, what I'm hearing you say is it's systematic. We've been living in it, right? So everybody has it in them in a different way, right? But it's in there somewhere. So I want to say to anybody watching this who's white and feeling uncomfortable, there's an invitation here to resist the collapse that might come of the shame that you might feel. Have I done it wrong? Do I need to do it right? How do I do it right? And be really open to feel it and to learn, right? And that then creates the opportunity where, because what I'm seeing is, and I'm seeing a lot more white people step up, step forward, and start to hold and start to have the uncomfortable conversations, right? And there's work for all of us to do, me included. There's a huge amount, right? But the only way that I believe, the thing I'm seeing is the healing can occur when people are willing to step up. Being willing to step up is you being willing to sit in the discomfort.
Yeah.
Right. And not rush to fix it. And oh my God, I need to do the right thing. And I'm seeing a lot of disembodied reactive action to sort of clean it up versus really, truly, deeply understand the complexity and the depth to which this is inside of us.
Yeah, I think we've got to play a bigger game, basically. And something when you're speaking that struck me that's probably useful for people that are going through this and like feeling all the, because let's think about this. Once you stop and realize, as a lot of people are, oh, I'm still complicit when I do nothing. Shit, I don't want to be that person. I want to do something. So you're like, okay, what can I do? So early steps, learn. Learn. First of all, you got to see this thing that you can't see, this invisible thing that you can't see. And that's not just outside of yourself. There's a lot of it inside of ourselves, and that's where our power lies. Okay, so you start to see this stuff when you look at it, and you feel guilty and shameful and all the other things that don't feel nice. They're horrible feelings to feel. I even, as someone who's into transmutation of emotions, I can't stand it when I have to go through a shame healing process. It's like, ugh. But that's power. This is what people don't seem to realize. It's like, that's your power. That's untapped power. That's raw, untapped power. You don't get to pretend Because whatever you find that's making you feel those things, it hasn't just been put there. It was there all the time. You just didn't know it was there. A little bit like when you know, you have people that go to hospital for one reason, and then when they're there, they find out they've got some sort of tumor growing somewhere. Now they still had the tumor before they knew about it. It's like that. It's like so there's this thing and it's inside of you and it's invisible. And then you shine some light on it and you feel it and you're like, oh God, that is not nice. I don't want to feel that. The degree to what you don't want to feel that is the degree to, that's how much power is potentially there. That's what kind of gets alchemized. It's alchemy, you know, we want to alchemize that shit into gold. And that's where we get our power from. So we have to face it. That's an individual thing. And I think obviously that's collectively as well. There's a lot of transforming that needs to be done. There's a lot of dismantling that needs to be done. You know, because we've internalized this system so much that so that we're all affected by it. You know, people of color are racist too, in a different kind of way. We've still been indoctrinated into the same system. You know, the system that says that we are inferior, X, Y, you know, and all this other stuff. That our beauty isn't our beauty or our body shape or our, you know, whatever. It's just not the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the dominant, it's kind of not how things should be. You know, it's wrong. As opposed to a culture where there's room for everyone. Because that's really what we want. We want a culture where there's room for everyone. Racially, you know, different types of people, all the genders, all the sexualities, all the kind of diverse ways that we think. Like there should be room for all of it because we need all of it. We're almost like a body, you know, a body's got all these different parts, they all do different things, but they work together to make you happen. The arm doesn't decide like the leg has got a problem because it, you know, the arm doesn't decide the leg needs to be like the arm. That's kind of what we do. It's just dumb. It's like, right, everything should be like the arm. Like it doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of what we do. And it's like, no, actually, I think you'd be surprised what we can do together. So all this, so Black Lives Matter because it's there for everyone. If Black lives genuinely mattered, yeah, genuinely, it would be better for everybody.
Yes. Yes. Reminds me something you said earlier today. I want to bring that in. You said everything is a doorway to the real thing. Everything. And I think, yeah.
Real thing. Yeah.
And I think the gold in what I'm hearing you say is it's a messy time. It's not pretty, right? That first conversation we had, right, about the shadow, right? And here we are having it again in a different context. People have an idea that life is this, and I think it's definitely a white superiority thing. Like life's supposed to be manicured, look a particular way, keep the status quo, right? And the thing it feels like we're experiencing is this huge dismantling. And I think when people are at that doorway, and you know, the thing you said was it's the doorway to the real thing, but they might never have had that. Right? Yeah. So how do they know? Right? So it's like, this is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
You know, how do I keep going?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They've been, I get that. And my heart does actually go out to people like that, you know. That's not even just about race. That's all sorts of things. That's just buying into the race issue is part of a fucked up system. basically, you know, that we all live in and accept as normal, that doesn't support our humanity. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't work. And we do a lot to prop it up. This, you know, we can see it kind of crumbling in so many ways, in every sort of sector. But people want, I don't know, we've been indoctrinated into it. So we believe it's weird. It's really, really weird. You know, this is a big task that we're talking about. But I think it helps if you know how to do that in yourself.
Yeah.
It's the same process out there as it is in here. So if you've anyone who's ever had to do any kind of dismantling, like we're all constructed, you know, it's like we're born pure and then we're constructed, you know, we start our identity is constructed by socialization. And we believe the hype. We believe we are that person, that identity, when it kind of like has finished serving its purpose to survive, you know, when we were young. And then we get older and we carry on. And I don't know, then it feels like we're flogging a dead horse until we decide to change and be like, this isn't working for me, you know, on whatever that looks like, you know, for whatever reason, and do something about it. And that's difficult and rewarding. I want to balance it out. It's both sides, you know, it's difficult and challenging, and it's also rewarding and fulfilling. You know, it's something, it's blissful as well, you know, because there's something really important. Like, I swear that's what we're here for, right? You know, people that work with me, basically, we're just undoing and unlearning all the crap they believe about themselves. And it's not all crap. It's not all crap. Yeah, some of it's very socially accepted, but my value system is it's got to be all about the truth. It's all got to be about authenticity. So I don't really give a shit what you drive or where you live and that. If it's built on some bullshit identity, that's not success to me. You know, that real kind of living, the ability to live your life as you is, that's a privilege in my book. That's a privilege that's available to everybody, actually. But it's hard. Yeah. And it's how it's supposed, it shouldn't be a privilege. I think it should just be normal. It should be, because that's our humanity. We're taken away from ourselves. And that's where this kind of racism comes from as well. Because we're taken away from ourselves so much that we can see groups of people as less than us.
Right.
And yeah, it's fucked up.
The thing I'm hearing here is that it's learned.
It's learned.
Right. And
absorbed almost. I think learned and kind of absorbed, if that maybe is the same sort of thing. Just the air that we breathe.
Yeah.
Indoctrinated at every turn. And I do believe it's kind of crumbling or evolving or whatever, transforming, and this is part of it. Because we need things, we're getting some big ones this year so far, you know, that kind of, they're like continual events that wake us up. It's not a one-time thing, but I, in my perspective, I see the changes. I see the gradual changes that are going on over time, for sure.
Something that comes to mind as I hear you say that is, you know, I've heard you say before that humans have a genuine soul urge for authentic power, right? Yeah. And how I've seen it in the world is that when we put on all of this, you know, and we've let the hatred sink all the way in, and we're so far away from our soul essence as who we are as a human being, it becomes this, how do I phrase this? So I want to speak to the thing I'm seeing right now, which is, and this is kind of this is directed at largely white people, I'd say, that are waking up to what we're talking about, waking up to their racism, waking up to the racism, the systematic racism, waking up to their privilege. And it activates this sort of activist response. Need to fix it, need to rescue, need to sacrifice myself to make up to all this guilt I have, I need to do something with it, right? And it's complete different frequency to what you're saying and what you say, that this genuine human soul urge we have for authentic power doesn't come from reacting because you think you're a bad person and you need to uphold your identity as a good white person, so I need to let them know that I'm doing the right thing, versus saying, hey, I'm a human, this is a mess, I'm willing to get in the ring, I'm willing to look at myself, I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to honor that I have a soul urge to find my authentic power and my authentic voice that's of service to humanity and the greater good. And I think the slip I'm seeing, and I want your perspective on this, is where people are falling into the activism and not taking care of themselves and getting even further away from what's authentically true.
I mean, it's leadership is what it is, right? Self-leadership. All leadership is self-leadership at the end of the day. I'm a leadership development coach. I would develop leaders in so many different ways, right? And it's always the same. It's always, first you get to know the I, and then you get to do the we. So it's kind of like, who am I, first and foremost, properly, beyond the bullshit surface crap. And then how do I relate to others, right? And we all have patterns, so we need to get out of any kind of idea that there's a linear process of I will get there. There is no there, I'm telling you, right? There's always a trapdoor, and you can only really go as high as you go low as well. This is the other thing people don't seem to realize. You don't get to all this darkness that we're wading through at the moment. It's because I know that means there's light. The equivalent light is available at some stage later on down the line, but authentic power. I literally just lost my train of thought there. I got really forgetful during COVID, really forgetful. What was I saying?
Well, you're talking about self-leadership.
Okay.
The dark, going through that, the amount to which we can go.
Yeah.
I've got the phrase I've got in my head is when they go low, we go high. And also the barking dog analogy.
What was that one?
Like the flying, this is a Bob special, the flying bird.
Eagle, the
can't hear, the flying eagle can't hear the barking dog.
Yeah.
You're talking about the submerging into the shadow, and the equal amount of light is available on the other side.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is it's about knowing yourself. Leadership development is about knowing yourself. Leader, know thyself. Okay. You need to know yourself. You can't do anything for anyone out there you don't do for yourself. But you can try. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that won't be the impact you think you're having. You want, and you probably won't ask neither, so you probably never know. But everyone will be talking about you behind your back. That's for sure. But basically, if you want to do it properly and have the impact, then it is about, first of all, getting to know yourself. Who am I? What's important to me? What are my values? Not this kind of, I like this, I like that. What makes your soul sing? What lights you up? What can't you do without? What do you have to have in your life? This is the perfect time. COVID has given us all such an opportunity by taking away so much distractions. Even I'm I do tons of work, and even I'm oh my God, I want to live a much more simple life.
Right.
Much simpler life. I didn't know that
Right.
about myself, the degree to, I don't need as much as I thought I needed. I really don't. And it makes me feel so much happier to be like simpler at this stage in my life. It's about, I mean, it's about sovereignty, really. That's fundamentally what it's about. And I just said that because I was just thinking about how during COVID, I started to write my book. I had the space to do the thing that I'm like, that's what's wanting to be happening for so long. And it was like, here, start the book. And the book is, working title is called Sovereignty. So I'm seeing that everywhere, you know, that kind of being the authority of yourself, having some agency over your own life. You know, things are going to, you know, we're not, so let me be clear, because I know people seem to have this, a lot of people have a very, I don't know if it's binary or something, a very binary way of looking at life. So if you say something you're for, they automatically think you're not, you're, you know, you're against the opposite. And it's like, no, some of us can hold more than that, darling. Some of us can hold, because we can do about one thing, doesn't mean we don't like the opposite, okay? So my work, my coaching work, as a Black woman, so it's just a natural thing of the experiences I have in my life, but coaching has always kind of pissed me off a little bit, the coaching community, because it has been like, if you can see it, you can dream, you know, dream it, and you can have it and visualize it, and, you know, be positive. You know, love and light. But then it's like, I'm like, fucking, I call bullshit, right? Because there's an element of that which is true, and, you know, of course it's true. And we live in a world that affects us. There's forces that come in from outside of us that affect us. We internalize those forces. You know, you see it in like sexism as well. You see women that, like, you know, a lot of women don't like other women because of the indoctrination of sexism. You know, it's that kind of shit. So yeah, my coaching's always operated in a world against the backdrop of the world that we live in. So I've noticed that backdrop changing over the years. Oh my God, I've noticed it changing. I've noticed, I do a lot of work in my work around the feminine and masculine energy, actually. That's a real powerful frame for me to hang the work that I do in a really, because it can get quite confusing, and, you know, but that kind of contains it. I found a way to kind of contain it within the ideas of masculine and feminine energy. And what I've even noticed is how that's affected by race. You know, and it's like, oh wow, it's everywhere. Like, thing is everywhere. And then if you don't know it's happening, you're just missing a big old trick.
Right.
Like, it's this thing is playing out that you can't see. So you're not aware of how much it's affecting people. You know what, as well, what I'm really finding this week, I'm not sure I was really fully aware of how much it was affecting me neither. And I'm sure I'm not alone there, you know. I was talking to my sister about this morning. Things changed for me, definitely, when I had my son 10 years ago, or nearly 11. I started to really have an awareness of raising a young Black man. I never had to think about that before. Growing up, it felt like Black men were having a harder experience. In my opinion, that's what it felt like. They were having a harder experience than Black women in some ways. And my personal experiences of racism, I haven't not experienced really much individual racism, you know. But that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, what I hate is if now that becomes a generalized thing. Other people are experiencing a lot of blatant, you know, really overt racism. Obviously I'm at the mercy of the systemic stuff as well, and covert racism and stuff, but I don't know, there's something about my nature which has just always been a little bit like the power. I've always been a sense that, like, I always had a lot of independence. So there's always been this sort of sense of like the power within me is a lot stronger than the power outside of me, you know, which has helped. But what I've really felt this week is where white people have sort of, I think this is what's happening, yeah. where white people are stepping up and saying we want to do something, we're willing, we're going to step in, da 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 da. I think it's created a little bit more space for some more emotional processing. It's taken some energy away from, oh God, I don't have to spend all my time fucking proving it. I to get it.
Right.
Okay, what's next? We've been stuck here for a long time. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what do we do next then? And actually, it's like, it feels as though my system's going, you feel exactly what you've actually been going through all this time. And you didn't know, because you just got strong and you just kept fighting and you just kept, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's been really surprising to me this week. And there's a lady on a group that I belong to, and she actually posted this week, how are the, I don't know if it's called BIPOC, I don't know if it's an American thing, but what's it, you told me earlier, Black, Indigenous people and people of colour, right? How are they doing this week? And normally, if I'd seen something like that, I'd be honest, I would have rolled my eyes and thought, oh God, here we go. Do good. But this week was, I don't know what was changed. It just felt again different. It was kind of like, I asked myself, like, actually, how am I doing this week? It was like, oh, it's just become so normal to fight. It's just become so normal to, like, I've always got an awareness that my life is revolutionary because I love myself, and I will continue to deepen the love I have for myself. And it turns out from all the social shit that in itself, as a Black woman, to be able to love myself in this world that tells me there's everything about me is fucking wrong, is a revolutionary act. Anything more than that is a bonus. I've done more than that, right, in my life, but it's a big deal. So I've always had that. I know that in a way that's my activism. There's so many ways to do. You're never going to find me at a protest. It's just not my thing, right? And I remember when I saw Hidden Figures a couple of years ago, it was like, oh my, I just cried the whole way through because I felt like I'd seen women on screen that I could relate to. Right. Even though I'm crap at science. So it wasn't about that. It was more about the fact that what was going on at the time, that was the civil rights time. And I just related to them. I was like, they were fighting civil rights in their own way. You know, so many people fighting in their own way, you know, whether there's all different industries, there's all different ways of doing it, you know, even raising your family or, you know, overcoming your own shitty childhood, whatever, right? There's so many ways. It's not always just about loud, out there, shouty ways. And that's okay too. Like, all of it's needed. But I'm also not really down for this kind of shaming people for not doing things the way you think they should be doing it. But the thing about authentic power is when you have it and when you tap into yours, it gives you the space. I don't know, there's just an extra respect. You've given yourself, you're all right with you being in your authentic power. You become all right with everyone else being in their authentic power. And it's like, okay, you're doing that over there. I'm doing this over here. There's no codependency. We should all be doing the same thing at the same time. You know what I mean? It's healthy. It's there's no competition. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, I don't want people to do things that they don't feel real about. This is not fake it at fake time. This is time for some real shit. If you're not bothered, keep it fucking moving. Like, I'm not interested in that. But if you're interested in healing or transforming or learning more or growing more, I get it. It'd be messy and clumsy and you know, I get that. And you know, you might get your fingers burnt and people are angry. They might not be very nice to you. You know, some people are not going to be. You might be like, hey, I'm being an ally. And then it's like, you know, there might be some people who are kind of like, fuck off. You have to roll with that. You have to roll with that because they're fucking angry. Yeah. Right. To process that. They've been through a lot of shit. So do it because you know it's the right thing to do, not because you're looking for fucking brownie points. Yeah? Do it because you care about humanity. Yeah. Like, mother to mother. There was something this week about the whole mother thing that just, I noticed it really just got everyone like, yeah, there was a thread that united many women, you know. And I don't want to cry because I haven't worn makeup for weeks now. I put some on for you today, and I'm not going to have it run. But it is just like, yeah, he called for his mum, and there was something about that for women I've noticed. Yeah, yeah. It's sad, you know. Fundamentally, it's really fucking sad.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge your generosity here, Lola. You can't see the thread, but I can. It's like,
I'm not going to get distracted because it doesn't take much.
I'll just say the thing I want you to know is it's what your transmission is having a really big impact on the people that are watching this. I can feel that from what they're writing.
Good. You know, this is important. This is fucking important. Like, I remember when I had to tell my son about racism. I hate when I have to tell him about shit that it's only when I'm telling him that I think, God, this sounds so, it's like the reality of it hits me even more. Like, even I remember when I told him about the Holocaust, I was just like, oh my God, saying it out loud. And he was like, what? They did that? I'm like, I know. It's like, fuck's sake, man. You know? But it's not nice. Like, he's innocent and he's sweet and he's gorgeous. You know, my son is so lovely and such a lovely, sweet, handsome boy. And then he's really caring, really compassionate. And he's 10, nearly 11. And in another 10 years, you know, if we don't start making some changes, he's going to become scary. He's just going to become fucking scary because of the colour of his skin. You know, and it's you know what, it's not just the justice system, even though that's fucked. It's the education system, you know, it's all of it. It's the fact that I can tell they don't really expect much of him, you know, already. They don't even fully know they're doing it. It's unconscious. We can't leave shit in the shadows because you're fucking scared of your own feelings. If you're scared, okay, you have two options. One is cowardice. One is courage. Like, it's simple as that. Simple as that. No one wants to be a coward, right? So choose courage then. Be a warrior, like a warrior for the light, you know? Like, you deep breath, like, woo, I'm bricking it. But you know what? This is actually a lot more important than my little fragile feelings.
Right.
And if it was your kid, you'd do it. If it was the other way around, you would want me to do it. And I would do it, actually. I know I would. I would. Just who I am.
I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you've had this conversation with him yet this week, but how would you describe this time to your son?
I haven't had the conversation yet, like, because we're in a COVID bubble and he's in an even deeper Michael Jackson, Billie Jean dance routine bubble. I've not had to, but I would have that conversation because we do, you know, I'm into that. What would I say to him? I mean, he knows that shit happens because of the colour of his skin. Yeah, I'll tell him that, you know, in America this week, there was a man and, you know, the police thought that he had done something wrong and completely over the top about it and murdered him. I'll tell him how they murdered him. They put a knee to his neck and that this man called for his mum, who died 2 years prior. And that I think she came for him. Yeah. She came for him. And he would, telling him's not the problem, it's the questions, or it's just the what? You know, I told my niece about sexism the other day. She's 4, but she's really about 45. And she went, well, that's stupid, isn't it? And then just walked off.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, I love that innocence they have. They're not bought into the bullshit yet, you know. But yeah, I don't mind. I'll have that conversation. He knows about these things. So I just haven't. I just think there's something around acting from your center. So I won't have that conversation with him when I'm not ready. I have to do, so the shit happens, you know, the first place to go to is yourself, not other people.
Right.
The first place to look after is you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've got to be effective.
Right.
We've got to be effective. So the other thing about authentic power is not really so much about what you do. I have so much more impact from how I am. You know, when you do the work, like transformation is really big for me. My son's called Phoenix. And I've been told this and I feel this. I've grown into this. My energy field is transformational. I know that. That's also quite annoying for people, bless. But I'm not easy to be around. And I'm not talking about because I'm saying or doing anything. Just being around me is like, okay. And so we all have that. There's an authentic power we all have where it's like, and I love it. You know, I love the people who their energy field, I don't actually know what it is, but when I'm around them, they might not even say a word. I get lots of creative ideas. Things start making sense. Like, those are the best people to be around. And that's testament to the work they've done. This is not about telling everyone how much freaking work you've done. I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've studied that. No, because I'm coming for them people as well, you know. Yeah, I didn't think I was supposed to, but life has shown me this week, like, no, you've got to do something about them. You got to go get the love and light brigades.
Mm-hmm.
They're sort of like my peeps, but just want to put some legs under that shit, you know? Yeah, so I'm coming for them.
I want to ask a question about that, if you're open to it.
Yeah.
So when you say the Love and Light Brigade, I think I know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Tell the audience who that is.
The Love and Light Brigade are people who, I don't actually know how to describe it without it being like I literally tick a lot of these boxes myself. So it's not that I don't agree with this, but it's like there's no legs under what they're doing. Right. So they like believe in positivity. Only be positive. It's like for me, it always feels like they're a bit two-dimensional. Like there's no, it's just like, just be positive, just say some affirmations, be positive. It's like they do things. I really don't mean to sound as judgmental as it might sound, but I think it's the difference between people that play at things and people that do the thing. So they don't like to get dirty. They're kind of trying to control, I think. I think they're kind of using spirituality to try and control stuff. They spiritually bypass, which I love that phrase. I really love that phrase. And there's a book by Robert Augustus Masters. I totally recommend that book. You know, I read it years ago. I think it's a classic. We all need to read it because it's a stage we all go through. And it's like not grounding their spirituality in like, okay. And some people aren't supposed to, and I get that. But there are people that I think are supposed to. Right. And I get it. They're not grounded because it's pain they would have to face. They're using spirituality to avoid processing pain. Yeah, like childhood wounds, emotional pain, trauma, generational trauma, which I think seems to be big amongst the people that I work with, you know, and huge in my own life as well. Still kind of is sometimes. Definitely am a generational trauma kind of girl, you know. So yeah, it's just annoying because sometimes, especially when you have trauma, I do a lot of trauma healing, you know, and like, it's like, it's not fucking saboteur, okay? It's not gremlin. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a fucking gremlin. It's a wound. Like, I've got to heal it. It's like having an actual gash, an actual wound, like on your knee, like a deep wound, and it's like it needs to be disinfected and treated and covered and then allowed to heal. Right. But these lot, it's like they want to just spread some fairy dust on it or something, and by man say abracadabra, and then it's, and I want it to happen. I'm going to set the intention that it's healed by tomorrow morning or something. You know, it's almost sometimes that ridiculous to me. So you need a bit of that magic, of course you do, right? Mm-hmm. Put some goddamn legs under it, guys.
Right.
The world needs us. Actually, the world needs us. They need people like us, and we need to figure out a way to face society, go into society with our stuff. And I do that. I happily do that. Whether I do that in the justice system or the corporate world. Yeah. So I'm coming for them. Like, really coming hard. Don't be scared, guys.
Someone's saying, as Sharia was saying on the feed, legs create movement, right? Having the legs is the thing.
Yeah. And clarity. Right. And clarity as well. The other thing I really notice is, for me as well, because sometimes it can be a head thing. You're like thinking. I need to get clear. And it's like, clarity comes from action creates clarity. That's it. Yeah. Right. You start getting clear as you move. It definitely is thinking. It definitely does come from confusion, comes from thinking. Yeah. So
yeah, I love that. I love that, because I think that really that's a helpful thing to hear right now. For anyone that's frozen, right? I can't act because what if I do the wrong thing? What if I say the wrong thing, right? It's all about me, you know, and that frozen feeling versus what I'm hearing you say, the clarity comes when you act, right? Yeah. And the only way you're going to get clearer and clearer is by continuing.
Yeah, pick up a book. Like, there's a lot of resources flying around at the moment. I've noticed that. So it's not, sorry, I don't know. I'm not going to have anyone tell me they don't know where to fucking start. Like, it's everywhere. Google it. The same way you figure out how to find that dress that you like. Use the same tactics, guys. There's a lot. I feel overwhelmed because there's loads of stuff I'd love to read as I look at my bookshelf full of wonderful books that I haven't read. I've read some of them, but there's a lot of stuff here I want to read. I want to dive into more, you know. I have a lot of lived experience. I don't really have a lot of book experience about this shit. You know what I mean? It's just right. Yeah. But yeah, look, that's what I mean by action. There doesn't always have to be a big, massive one as well.
Right.
There's knowledge in those books. You know, there's knowledge in those blog posts. They'll give you ideas. You know, there are coaches as well that can help you with that.
The thing I'm hearing you say loud and clear here, Lola, is that there is all the resources out there, right? Whether that's pick up a book, hire a coach, do the class, like whatever it is, have the conversation. But the external resources are all to support the accessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The inner resources.
And it takes time.
Right.
Yeah. Takes time, yeah. So forget any being in a rush.
Right.
Once you get on this, you can't get off, guys.
Right.
It's not a six-month thing. You might want to take breaks.
Right.
Pace yourselves.
Right. Totally. I wonder who here has felt like they're in a rush this week.
I'm pretty sure. Like.
Yeah, but I'm like, why do I feel I've got no time? You know,
sort it out now, quickly.
Now, you know, there's
no one else is killed by the police. No other black man must be killed by the police. We've got to do it quick. We can prevent it. It's like kind of not how system change, right?
Right.
But it will change over time. We need, in my opinion, we need to create like a tipping point in society. Things are normal in society because we collectively kind of agree, for want of a better term, that it's normal in terms of how we live our lives. Gay marriage wasn't normal once upon a time. Not even that bloody long ago, right? Now it's less of a big deal. I know for some it's still pretty a big deal, and for others it's really like not a thing at all. So for me, it's like it's paying attention to things like that for me. Like, you know, interracial marriage was illegal, right? So it's now it's so much less of a big deal to have mixed marriages, mixed race kids. It's like, you know, So this can happen with this as well. This could be like, oh, you know, in the olden days, people were fucking stupid, and they thought that black people were worth less than white people. Yeah, like, what? Yeah, they thought that, and white people couldn't even see privilege. What? So that's a possibility. We need a vision. I think sometimes that's what's missing, is like a vision. At the moment, like, and maybe not now as well. Maybe it's the timing thing, but it is like we're kind of digging around in the dirt at the minute. At that stage, I think we're at. But at some point, it'd be nice to have like, and what are we working towards? Like, how would we want things to be? My vision is to have a world that just works for all of us.
Yes.
Because I'd never feel really like I fit in anywhere, you know. So, which is okay. I think that's good. I now know the gift of that. But for a long time, it wasn't good. It was quite annoying. But if you don't fit into the like the majority of any group you belong to, you start to just feel a bit weird and odd. So yeah, there should be kind of in society like lots of ways to be a man, lots of ways to be a woman, lots of ways to be a white man, a white woman, a black man, a black woman, lots of ways, right? To be a coach, to be all the little labels, right? And it should work for all of us. That's what I would love. It's like, oh, you're artistically minded. I'm logically minded. Not I'm logically minded, so I'm inherently superior to you now because you're the way your mind works is valueless in this society. What do you do? It's like, no, we understand the value of the artistically minded, the visually minded. We understand the value of the logical minded, the emotionally minded, or whatever, you know, the somatically minded. All we recognize that we need all of them.
Right. You know, what you're saying here, Lola, is so fucking powerful. And I just want to say that the thing you were saying about the vision, right? We need a vision, right? And Sharia said something that was in resonance with the story I wanted to share about you. It's a story from the past that I think kind of illuminates this. So Sharia says, let's collectively agree to something else. And as you were just speaking there, I was reminded of a really, really beautiful lesson that you taught me early on in our relationship around what it takes to have these types of conversations. And I want to shed the context of this, right? Lola and I met working for a nonprofit that worked in the UK prison system. And Lola was the director of creating the coaching programs that the company delivered in the prisons. And there was various styles of coaching that we did as an organization, but there was one in particular that I think is relevant to this conversation, and it's the systems approach, right? Bringing everybody together for that conversation. And you went to the highest security prison in the UK to do this. Am I getting that fact right?
Yeah.
Right? It's true, right?
I mean, it's a high security prison. It's in London, Belmarsh. I don't know if it's but it's
in the UK. Like, right.
It's full on enough for me. Trust me.
It was all I remember is it was a huge deal, right? That this work was being done in this environment, right, where you have all of this hierarchy. You have prisoner, you have new prisoner, you have officer, you have top dog, you have murderers, you have people that have done lesser crimes, and you're bringing everybody together to bring up the honest truth of how everyone really feels, and getting the wisdom of the system to come to the surface so the new vision can be created. But you can't create the vision without that's the thing I learned from you, right? You can't create that vision without bringing everything up.
Yeah, no, good point. Because I was wondering where you was going with this. I didn't actually know where you was going, but no, you're right. Yeah. Like you have to, okay, here's a metaphor that's coming to my mind. When you do Marie Kondo and you do your clothes, you have to get, if you do it properly, you have to get all your clothes from all around your house and put them in a pile. And then you go through and do this other stuff. But it's like to visually see everything you've actually got, because we never do that. They're in drawers, they're in cupboards, they're in, you know, wardrobes, and they're in different places and stuff. But when you see them all in front of you, and you sort them out at the same time, not like I'm just going to do this drawer. It's something like that. It's like, it's kind of like, what have we got? What are we dealing with? Where are we starting from? And it's a really cool way to do that, because it's not from here. Well, we have this and we have that. It's a moving, embodied, facilitated, random, crazy, mad kind of conversation, I suppose, is the way you, But it's about stepping in and out of different, we call them roles. But really what you're really doing is like the system. It's really fascinating that how it all works, but it works. And I know there's definitely reasons and science for it that you need to go elsewhere for. But it's like, if you get, how do I explain this? What's it called when you get like a representation of a larger system, and it constellates the way the system constellates. You can see it's like it reveals everything to you. It's fucking crazy. I think it's a little bit like if you go around someone's house, their family, and you see them with their family.
Right.
It constellates, and you can see like, you see the dynamic. They don't see it because they're just in it, and they're like, you know. But you're like, oh, okay, I see what happens in this family. Like these two can't stand each other. You know, he's jealous of her. She hates him. You know, she's being really passive aggressive. He's the victim. It's like you see all these things play out, but the thing with the systems work, which I love, it's not just the people roles, it's like the energy roles. Yes. And you know what? I've got to share this because this is fascinating. So, I mean, I'm writing a book. It'll be all in the book in full story. I can't obviously go into it now. But bottom line is, the first time I participated in one of these things myself as a participant after the London riots in 2011, which was another kind of activating time for me. And I went to like one of these conversations, and we was talking about the riots, obviously, and there was all these different positions and roles and people speaking about different, like some people were like the police, you know, the government, the prime minister, the young person in the community, whatever. And then there are actually like, I can't remember the freaking actual term right now, but it also doesn't matter because no one knows what it really is. But it's like the emotions are also in the system. Yeah, the non-people roles maybe. And I remember the facilitator, Laurie Shook, who I adore.
Hi, Laurie.
She said, oh, it sounds like there's racism here. Who wants to step into this? Because what you do is you'll step in and be like, okay, I'm going to be racism. And it's like, what's it like to be racism? What do you want to say? Maybe you want to say something to someone. And I remember being, I think I was probably the only person colour in the room. Maybe there might have been one other, but I don't remember there being a lot anyway. And I remember just this feeling of like, oh, well, it can't be me. So it was almost just like, I was going to stand aside and like, yeah, no, you're right. Racism is here. Like someone's stepping at them. We're playing a role. We know it's not you. That's the whole point of this. It's like the more uncomfortable something is for you, the more value there is when you step in. I watched everyone in that room just kind of, no one was going there. And I remember thinking, I remember this real moment of revelation for myself of like, nobody's going here. Like, I wonder if it's because of me, because I'm here. Like, I know they're not racist. I know we're just doing a thing. So I stepped in because I was up for it. I just honestly thought maybe I couldn't. I just felt a bit like, well, no point me doing it. I stepped in and to be honest, I had a blast because I really do get into these things and I could feel the power. I could feel the kind of power the fake power that I got from feeling better than someone else. You know, I could actually feel the kind of weakness in me. I could feel the like the little pathetic man really running the show underneath all of that with this bravado on the surface, you know, it's a real, this is horrible. But I'll never forget the absolute, utter refusal for anyone to stand in that role. Yes. Just weren't having it. even to play and pretend in a safe space. We've definitely got to be better at that. It's messy and clunky, and people are going to shout at you, and you know, maybe they won't, I don't know, but we have to have, we have to take it, that shadow, that's a big old shadow that we want to reclaim. That, and that means to find your own part of you that maybe is racist, or maybe the things that contribute to race, like so it's not becoming another, just a big projection of like, hate that. Yeah. It's holding us back.
Right. You know, I want to kind of share something here. I realized in listening to that story, we've talked about that before, and I've been in, not that one, I've been in those things with you, right? We've done that in the same room. When there's been other uncomfortable things, racism was less of a uncomfortable spot in the one we did, but I remember the role that no one would stand in, right? I remember it when no one's gonna fucking go into that
me
one.
and you, the one that me and you stood in.
It's like, what's it gonna look like to stand here, right? And this is really powerful work, constellation work. There's many different ways of doing constellation work. This is just one of them. But what I, you know, as I'm listening to you, I'm like, even back then when we worked together, you know, we were doing that work, I don't know whether I would have stood in racism.
Right.
And having this conversation now, I believe I would. I believe I'd be willing to go there. And that's just, you know, when I look at my own journey, you know, and I'm really honest with myself, and I've had a lot of, it's been a very uncomfortable week, right? Really taking a peek beneath the hood and being like, where am I not having the conversation with myself? Where am I not actively, consistently dismantling? Not just, I do a lot of identity work, not just that, particularly around racism and my own inner racism. So, you know, that was 3-4 years ago, right? We're in a different time now. I've done a lot more work since then. But I just think that's interesting information, right? That even us having this conversation live about race, coming on here, I was thinking there had been an old version where I'd have been like, that's not an okay thing for me to talk about. Right?
I have it too. I think what we have to realize is racism has an energy field of its own on our planet. And that energy field that it has is dense as fuck.
Totally.
It's got so much history, so much baggage, so much, you know, there's not been a lot of kind of repentance or forgiveness or making amends. It's like, just sweep it under the carpet, no one mention it again. That's not how things get resolved, you know? So like there has to be some acknowledgement of like, when you're doing this, you're stepping into that field. But also the work we're doing at the moment is to clean that field up. That's why it's so important.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing I want to say, because I think this is important and I want to say this, is that when I've done work, I'm big on identity work too. And when I've done, and I love doing it with people, really love it. Because I find it I'm really curious about people's identities and how they were formed and all of this, and helping them to unpack them a bit, you know. And I like to use the wisdom of the body a lot. So this is, again, not a mental process, but more than that. So there's this exercise, and when I've done it several times, and then it's even in the prison work now, because I really wanted the boys to have that space to unpack their identity too. It felt so key to the transformation. And I remember doing it, and like what it is, you have all these demographic labels like gender, I don't know, parental status, marital status, race, ethnicity, country of origin, job title, whatever, all these things. And you basically can do whatever you want. You step in physically to them and see what is available, what information is available. When there's something about physically taking a stand and stepping into something. So it's like step into gender, and I'd be like, okay, I'm a woman. It's like, oh, I feel a bit funny about that or whatever. And you start to unpack that. When I've done that exercise a few times with white men, and it was something that I started to see, and it became really common. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know this was going on. And what it was they hadn't ever had to really, it was race and ethnicity. Every time they stepped in, it was like struggle fucking city. And I remember there was times I'd be watching them step in and I'd be like, it's white. They'd be like, almost like, I'm not sure, like, I suppose I'm white. I'm like, duh, like, yeah. And sometimes even for gender, it was like, well, I suppose I'm a man. I don't really think about that. I remember just being like, whoa, that is new. This is fascinating to me. You guys don't ever have to look at your freaking identity, do you? Because the world just works for you. It's built for you. And as a result, you don't have to look at it. And the amount of guys at the end of it would be like, I just realized that I'm a white man. And I'd be like, wow, like you could see that on their face, like they've had this massive realization because they don't have to think about it. And then when I started to get it, I thought, oh my God, because they don't have to think about their identity. They don't understand the importance of it. So they shut it down for everyone else. So it's super important for white people to start to look at their identity, purely because the more comfortable and able you are to do that, the more space the rest of us have. Because at the minute, it's just shutting us down. This is not that. There's nothing happening here. Nothing to see here. It's all good. It's all good. And it's like, and women, we know this as women as well. You know, who doesn't know they're a woman? Everyone knows if you're a woman. You know you're a fucking woman, right?
Right.
Your relationship to it is another matter, but yeah, I just think that's really important, and that I definitely want to say that's why this work is so important, and I think it's also really important to do it in mixed groups. I love uncomfortable things, so it helps. As I'm sharing with you now, I learned a lot. I mean, then you're able to have these conversations with each other. It's actually a really beautiful thing, and it really unites people. Yeah, really powerful. I want to do more of that work now. A lot more. Yeah because you can do this work in ways that doesn't always have to be so dark and heavy. I bring humor to my work as well. I'm trying to keep it, not too light today. But I do love a lot of humor in my work. Right. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be, I know we've talked about this together, and actually out of anybody in my life, you've modeled this beautifully. And I always say this, Lola, you're just a long game player. You just are. It's like in your blood, in your bones. Like,
got a lot of stamina.
There's a lot of stamina. There is no quick fix, right? And what did I want to specifically talk about here? I think something you are brilliant at is really being able to know when someone can't hear something. Right. And it's not and it, for anyone right now that might be waking up and just thinking like, I got a lot of shit to say, that kind of rescuer complex can come in really easily. And then it becomes, I know something you don't. How dare you not know this? Let me tell you what you need to know. I am guilty of this. That is a pattern, I've had my entire life. Where it becomes a place where people feel wronged and backed into a corner, and then they can't hear, and it's not productive to this new vision. It's not productive to the real conversation, right? So there's a certain skill, and I think you modeled that beautifully.
And I think that's what leadership development is about. Yeah. Because all I hear is about stepping out of the drama triangle. In none of those roles, victim, rescuer, or persecutor.
Yeah, Sharia's gonna love this.
Forget it.
We have our resident expert.
Come out of that to be real authentic power in our leadership. Real authentic.
Yes.
And we all go in there, right? Let's not, nothing I'm saying is about being like, and then we never go in it again. It's like, no, we always recover.
Right. Repair and recovery, baby. There we go. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. This is a big takeaway. I think the stagnancy and the complacency is what keeps the stuckness, right? The rupture and repair. So it keeps us moving.
Yeah. True. It's the well, you know, I call it comes with the wounded masculine energy, but we're not even going to go down that road. It's that kind of pressure on yourself to be perfect.
Yes. Yes.
You are.
Yes. Not helpful.
It's like, it's bullshit. It's not real life.
Yeah. Completely unhelpful.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
Playing a loser's game, guys. When you play just tell you straight. Playing a fucking loser's game. That's not a winner's game.
That's right. That's right. I feel like we're heading to a nice peak to close.
Yeah, I think we've been long enough, babe.
I think, and I wanted to. I'm gonna ask everybody to share rather than ask questions. Yeah. We're gonna talk about how people can find more of you. And I want you to share a little bit more about your work. But I just want to say to everybody on the thread that's been here, because you've been really sharing a lot and talking about all the things that have touched you. And Lola, you can go back and read it. I'd love to hear from you if you've been here. What are you leaving with? What are you leaving this conversation with today? And just write it in the comments. And if you have anything direct you want to say to Lola, you can say it there, and Lola can read it.
I'd love to hear what you're taking away. I love that question. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Always want to be
awesome.
Useful.
Exactly. Well, I want to just say on behalf of everybody, thank you. You are just phenomenal in your deep willingness and your heart and your commitment, and your transmission every time. It blows me away. It really does. Honored that you would be here and have this conversation. So thank you to start with.
Thank you for having the conversation. Yeah, thank you for important. Sticking your head up and saying what needs to be said. Appreciate that.
So how do people find you, Lola? And what are you up to? What do people need to know about you and your work right now?
Gosh, so I'm in what am I in? What was that phrase you said earlier? What was it? Do you remember? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm in a process of transformation at the moment, as I usually am, to be fair. But right now, where you can find me is my Instagram, on my Instagram at Boss Ass Living. So Boss Ass Living is my company name, BOSSASS Living. And Instagram, probably the best place. I will say, when it comes to social media, I'm sometimes active and sometimes just absent. So, but I'm there. I will always come back there eventually at some point. It's, again, self-care and stuff like that. And to just go off it. There's times I just actually go off it and I'm like, ugh, I don't care what everyone's doing anymore. I don't want to see. But that's the best place. Also, there's my website, bossassliving.com. There's a free resource on there that actually might be useful for people about power, but it's about the feminine and the masculine, really, the wounded and the healthy, feminine and masculine energy, using that to come into your power or explore it a little bit more. So that's quite useful, actually. And you can explore, anyway, no, I won't go into any more detail about that. Just check it out if you want to check it out. I am on Facebook as well. Boss Ass Living is on Facebook. And in terms of work at the moment, I'm writing my book. So I'm spending a lot of time doing that. But also, and I will be for a while, I can tell. But this thing's taken me on quite the adventure. But I want to run a group. So I'm in the process of putting a group together, actually.
Yeah.
I want to run groups. That's really feeling like a call for me. You can work with me on, and there's ways to do that if that's feeling like your thing. But there's no information about the group. All I will say is that my book is going to be called Sovereignty. Actually, it might not even be called this, but at the moment, that's what I think it's going to be called. Sovereignty, reclaiming your natural power.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm about if you're here watching this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a girl that's like, I'm a soul girl, right? So, you know, it's not about, obviously there will be some information because people need that as well. But if you feel called, just get in contact. What I'd say would be really cool would be just to have a group organically that's just run, you know. So I am looking for like 6, I'm gonna say people, even though I work with women, I always still get a lot of men. So 6 people, although I have a special place in my heart for women, that want to come together and do some work around sovereignty. We will go on a very transformational journey together over probably about 6 weeks for the minute. But yeah, there's no details or anything on that. If that feels like something you're interested in, then slide into my DMs and let me know. Oh, you've gone funny with me. Nice. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, you're frozen, babe. Frozen well, though. We're moving now. Yeah, I think you... Hold on. Say something. Yeah, no, I can't hear you. I think you're saying something about a mic. No, I'm just making it up. But yeah, you've just gone mute, unless it's me. But oh, okay, it's you. Would you like me to close this for you, darling? So everybody, Olivia's having some technical problems right now, so I'll close for her. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope it's been really useful. Yeah, Livs. Okay, darling, just wait. Oh, you're back. Are you? Okay.
I'm back, but you keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it today. I hope it's been really useful. You know, get in touch if there's anything I've said that you'd like some more clarification on, and eventually I will get back to you, because sometimes I take ages to do that. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lola. All right, I'm gonna stop the sharing. Hang on.
Thanks, sweet.